My name's Nate. I'm with Development Seed and MapBox, and we do custom mapping projects and develop open source tools. And so 12 months ago, we saw one of the worst famines in the Horn of Africa. And so places like Dadaab saw a massive intake of new refugees. Across Somalia, populations were moving, trying to find new sources of income, trying to cope. And so this brings up the question that all these different factors that make up a complex situation. So how do you tell the story about a mass grave of children who have died of malnutrition? These are the things we're experimenting about, taking data and making it more mainstream. So telling data with stories. So last fall, we worked with Administrator Shaw to help him tell his story about the Horn of Africa, from telling about factors and helping him explain how the U.S. can scale up and help in the efforts. And so I think an important point here is that it was a regional situation. It wasn't just focused in Somalia, and so understanding how regional it was is very important here. And then adding in time and being able to zoom in, you can see the hardest hit areas in southern Somalia. And on top of that, you want to add in context. You want to know what are some of the factors leading up. How in the fall before, so the fall of 2010, how did the poor rains affect drought? And you can see here in April 2011, the Horn was literally brown. And this plays an effect in communicating the message. On top of that, we can use a little web cartography and pull in OpenStreetMap data and kind of explain the situation within Mogadishu of how IDPs were affecting the city. Using UNOSAT data, we can literally see the locations of the IDPs. And so this was kind of a precursor, that work, to the work we did with in the Sahel with a group of about 9 partners for SahelResponse.org. And this was really a data sharing exercise. But it was more than just pretty maps and a nice package site. This was a full layer builder and data browser, being able to filter through and see something like WFP warehouses across the whole region, along with their logistics corridors. And it's not just pretty maps. It's accessing the data and being able to access the raw data in SQLite or shapefile or even CSV. And so this is a powerful way to access and share the data. And I think this was an exciting thing for the community to do, and push the boundaries of making data more mainstream. And GFDR was a big leader in pushing that, and they're continuing to do that. But there's a question of workflow, right? So how do we begin to change the way we think about accessing data and putting it into the workflow that we're doing and getting something that's useful and easy to use. So take, for example, Fuse, where I hate to pick on them, but the PDF data and having to go in 2-3 clicks just to get that data, hit the back button, it's a killer for being able to collate and pull in information. So when we're working with partners and working on any project, we're thinking about designing to share up front. We're thinking about what do we need to do, what are the types of maps, how do we begin to integrate that into a project. So we're thinking about what's good colors, what are good pieces of information to add into the map. So for example, this is livelihoods data from Fuse, or adding in P-code data from UNOCHA. So these are all important. On top of that, it's more than just making maps. It's building to share. So it's building, how do we build a tool to equip people to really use it? And so we're thinking about that, and Sahel Response kind of help push that. And so one aspect, if you're publishing a lot of maps, maybe you need to add the map endpoint in the website, so then someone can then take that and integrate it into their website. So ultimately, we use the MapBox hosting and the API there to do that. On top of that, we're thinking about how do you build large data browsers? How can we use a GeoJSON geodata format to then publish, and then you're starting to build lightweight applications off of that. You all know CSV, open, lightweight, easy to use. These are the things that we want to see used more. And so I just want to integrate this building to share is quite powerful, and I think OpenStreetMap kind of captures this, where the power is in being able to contribute and use the data. So I'm happy to talk about this more. We'll be outside, and if you want to hack on the Sahel Response website, it's a public GitHub repo. Thank you.